Everyone. Hello and welcome to African Blockchain Hackathon Opening Day. We are glad to have everyone here. Hello and welcome to the opening day. So we have a lot, prepared for you today. But before we go into what we have prepared for you, let's take a look at what the African Blockchain Hackathon is about. Welcome, everyone. Let's wait a few minutes for others to join in before we begin. Let's just wait about 2 minutes more for others to join in, and then we begin in full force.
Recording in progress.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. So we are going to begin now. Thank you all for joining in day of the African Blockchain Hackathon, sponsored by the African Blockchain Institute with support from Freetones. So the African Blockchain Hackathon is an event that is bringing together blockchain professionals, crypto enthusiasts, and ensuring that we create African-based solution using the blockchain technology. We all know that Africa has lots of solutions that could ride on the blockchain technology, and we are kind of not utilizing it as much as we should. And that is what the African Blockchain Hackathon is for. And we know that we have lots of, products, great products that are risen out from hackathons. And we do hope that the African Blockchain Hackathon is going to give birth to great ideas and great products that will be used for Africans by Africans. The African Blockchain Hackathon is an initiative of the African Blockchain Institute, which is ABI, and it's to give young professional students, tech enthusiasts and policymakers, an opportunity to get early exposure to the blockchain technology, as well as building solutions using the blockchain technology. Now, the contestants are going to be asked to build blockchain, a sponsor of the African Blockchain Hackathon. So we are going to be getting solutions that we built on free tools. All right, before we continue, my name is Rebecca Say. I am your host for today, and I will be guiding you. I'll be your guide on this wonderful tour to the African Blockchain Hackathon opening day. Trying to get my meeting to work. So, like I said earlier on, our sponsors are Freetoons, and aside from being the sponsor, winners of the blockchain hackathons are going to be getting gift prizes that are going to be worth thousands of dollars in Freetoons, as well as an all expense paid trip to South Africa. We are going to go into the program in earnest, and we are going to be starting with an opening speech from Mr. Kayode. We're going to be starting with an introduction. Mr. Kayode Babarinde, who is the Executive Director of the African Blockchain Institute, is going to be giving us a brief introduction to what the African Blockchain Hackathon is all about. And from there, we proceed to other aspects of this event. Welcome once again to the African Blockchain Hackathon opening day. I hope you do enjoy yourself, and we have a fantastic time on this journey. Over to you, Mr. Kayode Babarinde.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the Africa Blockchain Hackathon Program. It's been a long time coming, and it's been done initiative with Africa Blockchain Institute in partnership with Freetoon. For the past couple of months, since December now, we'll be working closely with the Freetoon community to see how we could expand the adoption of the Freetoon technology across Africa, and part of which is this hackathon program, and which we started with the campus blockchain hackathon program earlier this year. We strictly focus more on students this year to see how we can engage them on blockchain technology, and specifically more on Freetoon protocol. So within there now, we're able to get some interesting submissions that they are not students, but they are young professionals and they want to be part of initiative like this. Reason why we expanded the idea of the campus blockchain program to become the Africa Blockchain Program, where it's open and allowing several young professionals, policymakers, developers, tech enthusiasts, and also founders as well, to join on board and collaborate to have a prototype or an MVP via the Freetoon protocol. And this time around is even much more robust and much more well organized as against the initial one. This time around is going to be having teams where we have both of the technical part and also the non-technical part. In terms of things, those are developers and also those that are into business development. And we all know these are very important when it comes to hackathon and sharing ideas together. So each of the teams will be passing through several rigorous trainings and several rigorous submissions for the next couple of weeks for them to eventually emerge at the Continental Hackathon Program, because we're starting with a country level competition where folks in the country able to compete among themselves. Then the winners from each of this country will emerge towards the regional hackathon program. Regional hackathon program means the Eastern African, the Northern African, the Western African, like that. So from there, winners of those regional hackathon program move towards the continental hackathon program. But let me also give a few brief about what we do at Africa Blockchain Institute. What we do at Africa Blockchain Institute is basically building blockchain capacities on the continent. And we have 3 priorities, which is the blockchain education, blockchain research, and also blockchain deployment. And outside of these 3 priorities is where we have programs like the Hackathon program, incubation programs, and also the summer camp program. And we hope we keep having many of this program coming up to eventually have a stand and put Africa on the blockchain map globally. So guys, again, thank you very much for this program. I really want to appreciate the Freeton community, especially Freeton Africa of Governance, for being a good partner since last year and now, supporting us through on Hackathon program. And we look forward to have many of this support moving forward. We are so much happy to see the product going to be merged for this hackathon program for Africa Solutions. So guys, thank you very much for coming to this program. I wish us all a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kayode. Thank you for the introduction. So we are going to be moving down to the next thing on event list, and that is the welcome address. And the welcome address will be given by Mr. John Kanyiri, who is a member of the African Sub-Governance Team, Freeton. So Mr. John Kanyiri, over to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Kayode, and the entire ABI team. My name is John Kanyiri, a Freeton Africa initial member, and it's an honor to be giving you the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we gather to launch another memorable hackathon. The Freeton Network is proud to be a sponsor of the event for the second time, and we look forward to a successful hackathon this time round. Similarly, we have observed an increase in the number of participants in the competitions from the last hackathon. This is testament that the opportunities within this space is growing. The hackathon itself is growing, and that is a good thing comparing to what we did last time. We also note that the impact of this hackathon to the communities is excellent. We also note that the sponsorship of Freeton Africa and ABI, the cooperation is bearing fruit, and we have really come up with good projects if we look at the previous events. Also, as stated, we have an eventful few weeks of the hackathon ahead, and look forward to a successful one this time round. Thank you all, and welcome to the second ABI Freeton Powered Hackathon. Thank you. Back to you, Rebecca.
Rebecca, are you there? So the last person on the agenda for today's program is on today's agenda is we'd like to introduce our keynote speaker in person of Mr. Samuel Dare.
So hi everyone. Thank you very much for having me. It's actually quite an opportune topic because I've worked as a technologist for the past 15 years, and but my family has a background in international development where they preach the virtues of Africa development. We must develop Africa, but I think it's become very obvious that no one is going to save us. We have to save ourselves. In all aspects of the development agenda, it needs to be grassroots led and country owned. So what in essence that means is that basically we need to take control of our own destinies, and because they say like an international development agenda the international development sector is often riddled with top-down hand-downs. So they give you like 5 million and they take 10 or 20 billion in your resources. In fact, in 2014 or no, 2004, there's something called overseas development assistance. That's the money the donors give us that they publicize. It was about 54 billion that year, but about 110 billion left Africa. So you start to think that who is aiding Africa? Are they aiding Africa or are they aiding us? But anyways, that's neither here but there. Just like drawing that connection to sustainable development. So I've had the benefits and joy of working across a lot of sectors, but more importantly, things that I think are pertinent to the topic and to the room are things like so I was a technical lead at Shell for a year, for just over a year. And we started to look at concepts of like, distributed energy, like, how can, because one of the problems with all the grid sectors is that like the energy sectors is they're all centralized. Now, blockchain is a technology that naturally lends itself to decentralization. So we talk about mini grids, microgrids, and we talk about community generated resources. So these are interesting things that I think people, once we break down the barriers to entry, for people, can start to generate microeconomies that sustain themselves from using blockchain technology. And I'll come down to breaking down the barriers in a bit. But I also wanted to touch on I'm sure most people here might have heard of it. But one of the promises of blockchain was it's not to build what you call a Web2 business in a Web2 form. It's to reimagine new business processes or economies that were not possible without the advent of blockchain technology. So I'm not sure if anyone's heard of Axie Infinity. So Axie Infinity is a blockchain-based game where you play to earn. And trust me, throughout the pandemic, this is what has saved the Philippines. So because basically players play, they earn valuable stuff and they can sell it. They can sell it. Now, this would never have been possible without blockchain technology because I'm not sure if anyone is a gamer here, but most of these gamers, you can get banned from their, the software developer can ban you from the server, or they cannot take your rewards, which if you're a hardcore gamer, I am, they can really piss you off. But the fact that these things are built on the blockchain, yeah, and whoever owns them irrevocably owns them, is transparent, it's decentralized, and they're not intermediaries. People in Philippines could actually survive the pandemic. People not even survive. People in the Philippines can actually thrive in the pandemic. So that's a world that would have never been possible without blockchain technology. I believe there's scope within Africa to build something like that connects people and helps people earn, because like if you like, I'm from Nigeria, and Nigeria is meant to be one of the big ones, but that country is like, there are no growth opportunities, there are no endogenous growth opportunities. So, things like this and innovations like this can actually give people a way to lift themselves from the the gravitational pull of poverty, because it's actually terrible. It's actually terrible. Then also look at cases like, you can have like, there's cases like things that don't really interest me that much, but are also as important are things like supply chain financing, distributed identity is a very big one, because we keep saying the unbanked, but that last mile problem, there are things before we get there. So, blockchains can give us, can help, give us self-sovereign identities, which can, help empower people, because, if you don't have a bank account, you're cut off from a lot of financial services. So this could also be one. So those are some of the use cases that that really interest me. Right now, I'm the CTO of a DeFi protocol, Acropolis. So we build structured products for users. So you can basically you can come into the protocol, select your if soon you build select your risk level, and earn between 5 and 20 and 50% of your capital. Now I'm not even sure Nigerian banks give interest anymore. I think they just charge you. So in a world where that is the fiscal policy, things like DeFi, high yield savings accounts are things that can also help build people. Because it'll be beautiful if one day that market trader that sells a pepper sells it for has 1,000 profits. I can put that 1,000 profit in and grow generational wealth that way. So those are the things that interest me. But this opportunities, they're not without their perils, because one, people say blockchain, accessible. The blockchain, like the Ethereum blockchain, which is the most popular smart contract computation platform, is brutally inaccessible to the third world, because like you do one transaction, it costs you 120. No one has $120 to spend on a transaction. Like this is not that. So we need solutions that scale. We need solutions that are mindful of our local context, because literally if you think you are solving the unbanked by $120 transaction fees, you're not. Literally, even the relatively well banked or the medium banked will not even go there. So we look at solutions that are interesting, that reduce that barrier. And one of the reasons why I was very excited about Kayode, when Kayode reached out to me, was also like we need to bring, like, I think Africa is full of unbounded talent. We need to bring more of the, not just developers, because we know when people think blockchain, they think, oh yeah, I'm not a developer, but we need everyone, because it takes a village to raise a child. We need the marketers, we need the business people, we need and obviously we need developers. So we need to institutions like the African Blockchain Institute, they serve to reinforce that, that pillar, so that we can garner momentum around this. And something that's also interesting is I'm complaining about the Ethereum and how it's not a solution for the third world, or it's not a solution. So things that I found interesting are something called Celo. So Celo is a network with very low transaction fees. And that is it's very, very low transaction fees. You can do it on a mobile device. Because when you look at our local context, it is one, we don't have money to pay for transaction fees. Two, it is very context. We're probably using feature phones. So we're looking at technologies that can work with this. So that's where I think, I mostly I've worked on Ethereum for most of my life, but most of my blockchain career. But I would be lying if I told anyone that it was that scalable third world solution. Another thing that recently popped up that it's interesting. I haven't used them before, but if something is built by the people that are on ground, it's more likely to address the problems that the people on ground face. So Bantu blockchain, it's built off the Ripple and Stellar, and it's a fork of Stellar, which they've made some adaptations to, and that also looks quite interesting. Yeah. To summarize what I've said, like, it's everyone's responsibility. Like I don't want to turn this into how much I love blockchain, because we probably need another seminar for that. But it's truly transformative technology. But again, like with everything, we can't let people that do not understand our local context set our agenda. So it's everyone's responsibility on this call. Like if you're a marketer, you're an Instagram person, you are whatever, you're a developer, to do what you can to bring this future, because it touches every single, because like what made Bitcoin's innovation so powerful is that it disrupted the most stoic institution in the world, money. And once you disrupt money, you can disrupt anything. So that's the challenge to everyone. Like, go forth and disrupt. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. Thank you. So now we are going to move over to the panel session, and I'm going to be handing this session over to Susan Falola, who is the CEO of Jubix. She's going to be the moderator for this session. Susan, over to you.
Susan, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you able to see me? Can you see me?
Yes, you can see you now.
Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. So I just was saying it was great to be here at the opening day of the African Blockchain Hackathon. And obviously I'm here to present the panel session on the topic, Blockchain, a Catalyst for the Digital Economy. So first and foremost, we're going to introduce our panelist members who are going to obviously share their insights with you all. First of all, I'd like to introduce Dr. Tammy Francis, and I would like to give her the floor to obviously give a brief overview about herself and her experience. Dr. Tammy, over to you.
Thank you, Susan. Hello, everyone. Let me see. There we go. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Tammy. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I am an educator and a blockchain enthusiast, and so I am excited to be in this space and share with you my knowledge in helping blockchain professionals in this in blockchain technology and learn more about it. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tammy, for that introduction. And if we could have Randa Al-Rifai. Sorry if I haven't pronounced your surname correctly. Randa, over to you.
Hi, how are you? No, it was pronounced correctly. Can you see me?
No, I can't, no.
Okay.
I think you need to unlock your video.
Yeah. And now?
Hey, we
Yeah.
can see you now.
Hello,
Yes.
everyone.
You're matching.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here today and really delighted to be invited for the hackathon. It's very promising, this technology. This is why I come from Lebanon, and I've been doing banking and finance for the last 13 years. But in the last 5 years, I started the blockchain and the Bitcoin journey, and this is why I have been excited about it, and I find it very promising, and I didn't want to be left behind. So I started as an enthusiast and then an educator and a learner, of course. I'm studying my master's degree now in blockchain technology at University of Nicosia. And I became the ambassador of the Institute for the Future, ambassador for the Women in Blockchain Talks, and the board member of the Arab IMTech conference that took place in June. So, all in a nutshell, I'm always trying to influence people to come along in this technology, learn and educate themselves, work with the technology wherever it's possible in all continents because it's borderless and limitless, and we can do a lot about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Randa, for that introduction. And could we have Alexandra Filatov? Alexandra, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Alexander Filatov. I'm CEO of the company Ton Labs, which is a core developer of the Freeton protocol, which is a proud partner of the of this beautiful hackathon. I come from the marketing and industrial, and more recently, last 6 years, venture capital and technology background, and big fan of blockchain for 6 years now, and deep into the development. Looking forward to the panel.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Alexander. And last but not least, Femi Oye, are you there?
Yeah, thank you, and good day to everyone. My name is Femi Oye. Once again, I come from the OWAT, we call it One Watt Solar team in Nigeria. I'm excited to be joining this special event today, and also super excited that we'll be able to share one of those revolutionary and groundbreaking use cases of how we can demystify the big words and the buzzwords around the blockchain, taking it to our everyday knowledge, and to also ensure that we're able to crowd in as many local, indigenous, everyday people to embrace this technology as a way to create the future that we want by actually betting what Peter Drucker said, that we either embrace change or we die. So I'm excited to join the panel today and looking forward to engaging with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Femi. And actually, I would like to introduce myself. I am the founder and CEO of Tubix Limited. We are creating a fintech omni-channel for goods and services by providing a AI robust matching tool that matches startups, social projects, expertise, and investment in a two-sided marketplace. And I'm really happy, obviously, to be here moderating today. So I'm just going to give a little brief overview about the topic in question, which is obviously blockchain, a catalyst for the digital economy. So what is blockchain and what's the whole buzz about? So it's an application of information technology in which different components share information in a reliable and easy way. There are numerous formats and applications of this technology, but they have a number of things in common. In a blockchain, the participants in an information system, such as farmers, producers, vendors, can be seen as nodes or intersections in a digital network. Each node has all the information from the entire network. This means that there is no need for a central overseer when information is transferred between parties. The nodes in the network can check with each other to see if their copies are the same. If one of the nodes finds deviating data, then it can clear that information if it's not correct. It enables data to be shared reliably and transparently, and all components of that data remain accessible to everybody. And now I would like to obviously start with our first question. And the first question will be for Dr. Tammy Francis. We would like to know a bit more about, what you're up to. And the first question is, what is the ICO-RBP? Tammy?
Thank you. I'm hearing feedback. Is that just me? There we go. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Hello, everyone. I am the Director of Certification and Accreditation for I-Core BP. I-Core BP is the International Council of Registered Blockchain Professionals. And that's exactly what we do. What we do is any one individual can join our organization and become a registered blockchain professional. You know, one of the things that we are really embarking on as I-Core BP is what our keynote speaker said. He said, we need everyone. So that is actually including everyone from all the different industries and making sure that you can utilize blockchain in a way that makes sense to you and your organization, your institution, your company, wherever you are serving. And so I-Core BP formalizes that and formalize your blockchain credentials, or for those who are seeking that, to just add a layer of credibility to what you're doing and what you want to do in the field. And so that's what I-Core BP does. And I'm excited to be the one that does do that. And the other thing that I do is accreditation for institutions. And so if you're an institution and you want to be certified and you want to have a level of credibility for your institution, I also help. I am the director of that department at I-Core BP. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you so much.
I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Dr. Tammy. I would like to now point a question at Alexander. Alexandra, could you tell us about the latest blockchain technology advances and the future trends that are yet to come about? Over to you.
Sure, thank you very much. I'll try to be brief and then happy to answer potential questions. So as we all know, blockchain has been taken off with the potential to become one of the exponential technologies. However, historically, blockchain struggled on three main things, to really kind of take off massively and become a mass adopted technology. One is scalability, which is the throughput and the speed, latency, and finality of the protocol that did not enable some applications that require high throughput. If blockchain would become a voting platform with millions of people voting, or a massive traceability platform for Africa, or for energy efficiency, the current blockchain protocols would struggle. So there has been a number of protocols, including Freeton, who worked very heavily on those things like throughput, speed, latency, and finality, and made some good achievement. For example, Freeton allows you to process simultaneously about 70,000 transactions per second. And it's actually not transactions, but parallel execution of smart contracts. Because if we're talking about complex use cases where it's not just sending money to each other, digital money, then you have to talk about scalability at the smart contract execution level. The second thing that has been addressed by leading blockchains currently is developer tools, because developing for blockchain has been relatively difficult and expensive. If you compare to the classical IT, you don't have things, for example, like Firebase, that massively allows you to simplify development of mobile applications. So what, again, the latest protocols have been addressing is the developer tools and making it easy for developers to work to do stuff on the blockchain. And we at Freeton came up with a whole operating system that allows you, like you would have in classical IT, that allows you, there is a very powerful software development kit. There are quite a few helpful bindings. There is a technology called dbots, which allows you to open decentralized applications straight from the browser, essentially eliminating the web, which can be a vulnerability / security risk, which is a point of centralization in a decentralized system. And dbots is a very simple thing. It's a couple of easy to develop smart contracts that essentially eliminate the need for the front end. You just do the middle thing. You have browsers and you have your dApp, and the bot opens it up, makes it very easy and very cheap to develop on the blockchain. And yes, the last thing is adoption, which is a consequence of the first and second element of scalability and lack of proper developer tools. And again, some of the latest protocols, including Freeton, focused very much on that. We have a very comprehensive partnership program. We did about 30 partnerships already to engage existing use cases and bring them on chain, or enable use cases that were not possible for throughput reasons, for high introduction cost reasons. So, and that's something that we've focused very much upon. And I'm happy to talk about implications of all that for Africa later on the panel.
Thank you so much for that, Alex. I really appreciate your overview there about the advancements in the blockchain technology. I'd like to now point a question at Randa. How would blockchain actually support women, and what elements will women be able to see from the support that blockchain provides? Randa?
Yeah. So I heard the first part of the question, but the second part wasn't clear. So for supporting women, basically because I'm representing the community of women in blockchain talks. In contrary, I was always engaged and involved with 99% of men in this technology. So since I started the community here in Lebanon for blockchain and Bitcoin, and 99% of the attendees, of the learners and developers have been men. So that was challenging for women because they didn't, sorry, they didn't consider themselves into technology at first place, and second into something very new, which is Bitcoin and blockchain. So I was the first woman to make people aware of this, starting with myself. So when I got to be introduced to women in blockchain, which is based in UK and created by Lavinia Osborne, I was really considering to be a part of it and spread this culture, let's say, that women can be easily involved in such technology. First, because it's available online, and maybe most of the women or part of the women are staying during the pandemic, or they even work online, or even are housewives. For that, they are can be easily integrated into this technology by starting to learn, educate themselves with online courses or any other accredible institution. And then they can benefit from trying to be more technically or academically involved, whether technically being developers, software developers, or academically like myself. And that could result in either participating like today in a hackathon to start a startup, or even being introduced to a corporation and start working remotely even. So we are in a digital economy already. We have been going through this for the last, I don't know, a decade, let's say, gradually. And then when the blockchain came into the technology space, had a really big influence on women, men, and even teenagers, the youth generation. So this is why we are doing that online every day, every hour, like the exchange of Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency. Also, women can be involved in the trading part. They can learn online, they can watch YouTube and be advised by someone so they can trade and they can gain money while sitting at home and while being housewives even. So I think that this is a big opportunity for women to be encouraged, to be supportive to each other. And I'm here. If anyone wants this, please contact me by LinkedIn. I'm very active there, and I could introduce you to the community of women in blockchain talks. We also have opportunities for jobs, and of course learning what's blockchain, what we can do about it, what are the risks. And even if you have another career just like me, you can easily shift whenever you have this spirit of being involved in the future. So basically, it's easy. It's never been easy like this, and I welcome everyone to that needs help, who needs help. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you sent the second question, right?
Sorry?
Or no? The second part of the question.
Yeah, so it was kind of the same question, but entwined into two sections. Yeah, so you kind of covered it. Thank you so much for that.
All right. Okay, thank you.
And I'd like to now point a question at Dr. Tammy. So, Dr. Tammy, so back to this fantastic certification. Why should someone actually get an ICO RBP certification? And what would be the leverage of having this certification?
That is a great question. That is a great question. So the certification, like I said earlier, one, it adds credibility, and two is portability. You can gather all your materials. The two things that we do, or two of the ways that you can add to your credentials, is whether it's experience or formal training or in education and courses that you may have taken. And what we do is we compile all of that together, put all of that together in one location, so that way, and consider all of that as a part of our certification process, so that way you can have all of it together. And so so all those documents and all those things, so no matter where you go, you have access to it. So no matter where you are in the world that you want to seek some sort of employment, or you want a contract, whatever it is, you have that all together. And so it's a way for us to also document your progress and keep track of additional learning. Because, in this space, a lot of us have experience and hands-on experience. It's not necessarily, it's just now that we're gaining more, there are more institutions, there's more academies in this space that are offering formal training, but many of you probably have experience before those things entered the scene. And so we also compile all that, and then recognition of your prior learning. So anything that you have done besides just your experience, those things that are that you have there. And it's a way for you to really, for us to verify, for you to keep track, for you to continue your learning. So we also offer that. So continued learning, we have events, we have some already happening, and we have partners around the world. We have many partners, media partners, we have institutions, we have companies, and so you have access to that as well when you're a part of I-Corps BP membership and team. So, because or maybe I should say family. So that's a great, those are some great reasons to join us. And this segment is about blockchain as a catalyst for the digital economy. And so to learn more about it and to always stay on the cutting edge and the changes and the new use cases that come about, because things are constantly changing. So I-Corps BP certification, one, it captures all of that. It captures all of that learning and puts it in one place where you can have it to take with you wherever you want to expand your experience and knowledge. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Tammy. I actually wanted to touch on what Randa said earlier in regards to obviously women being invited to the table, finally. We actually have 50% of the audience are women today, and 50% are men. So African Blockchain Institute definitely has an inclusive diverse audience today. So that's very inspiring, especially for obviously the younger people on the call today. So going back to our questions, I'm going to ask a question to Alexander. Alexander, would you be able to answer this question? So in regards to sustainability, how will blockchain help in terms of the supply chain, and in Pacific to Africa? How can we create solutions that will make Africa a sustainable, gives Africa a sustainable future? Alexander?
Sure. Well, if we talk specifically about the supply chain, Africa is an extremely diverse continent with many countries, as we all know, and the trading has been relatively inefficient, at least from what I know, because there are a lot of intermediaries, there are a lot of trust issues, and I'm a big believer that 99% of the international trade will move to the blockchain in the next 10 years. And for Africa, it means massive implications because it's the most needed one. I think the supply chain. So that one element is kind of efficiency and trust. The second element is, I would say, traceability and fighting counterfeit, which is important in the food supply, which is important in the medical supply, very important, as we all know. So for me, those two things are the most important ones: is significant increase in efficiencies, and traceability, bringing, helping to fight counterfeit and bringing more reliability and health to the continent.
Thank you, Alexander, for your answer there. I'd actually like to point a question at Femi, because I actually realized I've missed him out. Sorry about that, Femi. It's all about being inclusive here, so my apologies. In regards to, everybody's talking about impact investments, this being a new thing. As a clean tech investor, how do you see blockchain enabling this?
Yeah, fantastic. First of all, we need to understand and put it in context. Technology itself cannot solve any problem. Technology is not the goal. Human being solves problem. Human being make things happen. A couple of years ago, a few number of guys came together to create what we call One Watt Solar today. And it was based on a simple premise that we needed to create a platform, a partnership that could bring in empathy into how we can solve some of those endemic damaging problems that we have in Africa. Today, Nigeria has less than 40% electrification. In Africa, across Africa, we have far less than 50% energy access. Women in Nigeria, 98 million of them die every day as a result of cooking in open fire, indoor air pollution, and a lot of challenges because there is no cleaner or safer alternatives for them. This problem has to be solved. We have issues around sanitation, around water, potable water. Many people still lack potable, clean access to water, and is not equitably distributed. This is a huge challenge. We have issues around payment solutions, huge transaction costs. So just for you to get by around similar products, you have to pay many gateway, many companies, different charges. When you even keep your money in the bank, it keeps dropping because bank keeps charging you all those issues. These are things that needed to be solved. We have insurance, we have a lot of people that are not covered. And we also have a very critical one in terms of lack of transparency in most of the transactions that we do across the world and across Africa. This push investors away. There is no data that can actually support the claim that you are making. No transparency around that. Exactly what One Watt Solar enterprise blockchain solutions have been able to bring to fore. So we've accommodated over 500,000 users today. And in this partnership platform, we have investors coming in, social investors, impact investors. We have VC companies, and we have series of bond programs where individuals as well can also participate in ensuring that the needed capital is actually funneled into solving some of these problems that I've highlighted. And guess what? Without blockchain technology solution that could give this confidence to investors that I can see through hand to hand, no one is manipulating data. And of course, a lot of entrepreneurs are coming in because they are getting jobs done. Imagine the energy need for Nigeria of generating about 14 gigawatts in about 5 years. It can only happen in a partnership platform like ours, where solar companies come together to come and form partnership on this solution. We have Women Entrepreneur Training Institute, and all these people on this ecosystem are those people creating value to ensuring that we get these problems that I've highlighted solved through smart contracting. Just talk about, because our own is not just to talk about the technology around blockchain. We have better experts on this panel, but the use case is we've been able to deploy blockchain technology to bring the cost of electricity down to an average home for businesses by up to 30%. In the last 3 years, we've powered shopping mall, we are powering hotel, we are powering schools, institutions, we are powering businesses, and they are seeing huge reduction in their cost of electricity. And of course, very, very soon, is just a signal to government that if the government of today will not begin to pay attention and embrace this type of revolutionary technology that has capacity to decentralize, to democratize, to actually domesticate the energy that is needed in Africa, because that's the only way we can recoup back our energy back in Africa and allow people to take charge of their own energy future. And that's exactly what we are doing at One Watt Solar. And that's why we are calling everyone on this forum today to also check what we do there is very, very significant, because it had huge potential to scale. In about a year, it's gone to about 6 African countries by people on their own, because it's a blockchain, it's open to them. So everyone can come in, you create your node and sit at your node, and you are beginning to build your own ecosystem around what you can do in your own very community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that passionate endorsement of 1 Watt Solar. It's a very fantastic initiative that you guys are working on there. I'll definitely be in touch myself, because it's something that I'm very interested in terms of the solar. So let's go to our next question. I'm going to be pointing this question at Randa. Randa, how is blockchain beneficial within a financial crisis, and is there a potential use case of crypto within this crisis?
Yes, I'm not gonna turn on my camera because my battery is low. One of the financial crises that we are passing through here in Lebanon is the electricity and the fuel crisis. So now I don't have electricity, and I'm depending on another way of energy. So this is quite challenging because we have been passing through this, and I know that Africa also have countries where there is vulnerability of the national currency and depreciation of the national currency. This is why countries in Africa or countries like Lebanon and any other part of the world have been embracing, as we all know and as we read the news every day, has been embracing the digital currency in a way of an alternative one. So yes, I think that this has been a kind of rescue from the deterioration, the depreciation of the currency and the economy as a whole, in a way that it holds potential for SMEs and entrepreneurs to rise again, to do their thing, to develop and bring back some dignity for a nation in terms of facilitating the economy, not using banks, because also we have been passing through this, the banking constraints. So all this ended up in one thing, that yes, we have been dealing with the cryptocurrency here in Lebanon, and I think there are similar cases around the world. This also promoted wealth saving. So it's not only for transfers, it has been used also for payments online, for purchasing anything, goods or services from international markets, e-commerce, and also preserving wealth in comparison to what we have been dealing with banks and constraints of transfers. I think I don't know if I answered your question. So yeah, if you have any other comment.
Thank you, Randa. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask Femi another question, if I may. How can people get involved in clean tech? Because I know you're heavily involved in this space, but for others that are obviously new to this space, how can they get involved? And is there any specific, obviously your platform being one of the main ones, but is there any other platforms or any other resources out there that they can get involved in clean tech? Femi?
Yeah, absolutely. We recently had a partnership with Ticadia. Ticadia is one of our partner that enable and ensure frontiering, aspiring entrepreneurs and individuals that want to investigate or even actively participate in clean tech businesses or building social enterprise around any of the clean tech areas. And I, of course, would want to say the point also is to get mentor and let One Word Solar be your mentor. So we have a collaborative and engaging community where we share perspectives and we engage our community in what we call an homegrown local innovation perspective, where you can use African solution to attempting to solving African-made problems, not just exporting it. Sometimes when we copy some of this thinking and some of these solutions, we find it very difficult to adapt it to what works in our own context. So we invite you to join our ecosystem. Definitely there's something that you can do there. You're a student, you're an entrepreneur, you're a professional, you have your own business that you're building already, or you're providing financial services, or you're even looking into a fintech space. So we also have a Green Pay and Green Coin, where all our payments are made and all collections. So we pay bonuses, we pay royalties, and we pay commissions to everyone participating on this ecosystem, such that we can effectively actually do a huge damage to fiat, because it has failed, it's never going to work. And that is why it's very important that everyone understand the new economy that is being built around this, whereby in buying your gas tomorrow, paying your school fees, or paying your travel ticket, a whole lot of merchants are still coming into the crypto world, whereby more cards will be issued, and gradually government would have to agree and accept that they have to engage.
Thank you so much for that, Femi. I really appreciate your answer there. I'd now like to point a question at Dr. Tammy. So obviously we talked about your certification, but how can pursuing a certification be a catalyst for the digital economy and help in terms of the blockchain industry as a whole? Tammy?
Thank you. So, I've mentioned about certification, I mentioned about accreditation, but I guess I should also mention exposure and education. There are many people who are entering this industry and are entering this field, and we have partners that are around the world that we give you exposure to. And one of the things that many are seeking in this space, and even from the chat and the messages I've received personally direct in the chat, are asking about the education piece and how to learn more. And so one of our partners is Altash University. And at Altash University, there's a program that that they have, and I'm one of the faculty members for Althash University, where I teach several courses there. And, you know, we talk about blockchain technology. We share the core concepts related to blockchain technology. We also talk about cryptocurrency and the financial technology and creating software applications. We talk about all of that in a vast range of topics connected to those things, in addition to the different use cases that Femi and some of the other ones have mentioned to this. I say this morning because it's early for me, but I know it's afternoon for some of you. But you know, some of them mentioned. So that is one of the major things, is giving access to the education that is needed to stay current in this space, you know, in order to, you know, because a catalyst is the start, right? The catalyst is that precipitation for change. And so education is a big part of that. And so we have partners that offer that. We also have events ourselves. So we have events that we share about different topics, and usually those are streamed on our social media. So definitely follow us. I put the LinkedIn in the chat. So follow us on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere we're iCoreBP. I'll put the handle in the chat as well. But we have events that offer education, and we have partners that can different aspects from different industries. And we're also available to partner with you and to really push the information and the education within this field further. So just connect with me, and I will definitely share more information. But those are some other things that we do in addition to really making you competitive in this industry, is also educating and giving you exposure to other places and spaces around the world.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Tammy. I'd like to now point a question at Alexander. So I wanted to know more, well, the audience would like to know more about Ton Labs. If you could give us more about what you do at Ton Labs and exactly how people could get involved, I think that would be really inspiring for our audience today.
Thank you very much. Well, Ton Labs is a core developer of the network. Think like of Satoshi Nakamoto for Bitcoin, so we would be the Satoshi-like company for the Freeton. And as I mentioned, Freeton is a community-owned, community-driven blockchain, so it's extremely open. And in fact, our strongest community now, my personal estimate is the African community. It's a 500 people strong team spread around the whole continent, and they're doing amazing things. This is the second hackathon that we're doing together with the Africa Blockchain Institute and Freeton. There are quite a few developers who emerged, quite a few use cases. Just to give you an example, we linked the Freeton Africa community with the Austrian company called Human Venture, which built a traceability platform for charity and donations. Around the whole world, there is an issue that a lot of charity/donations money are being lost on the way. So to make sure it doesn't happen, is very important because it will increase trust to the whole system, and will bring more people into donations and charities. So they're doing that now in a few countries in Africa. It's just one example of what is happening. We're currently also building an initiative called ESG, where basically we're creating a DAO to stimulate blockchain for good initiative. The stuff like what Femi is involved in, the ecology stuff, the charity, and all the other things, how we can, do something good for our planet. So it will be a DAO with its own token, which will stimulate blockchain for good use cases. And one of the large priority areas and focus areas is Freeton. And of course, you can just develop use cases. As I mentioned, we have this amazing debot technology, which allows you to eliminate the web. And web has been an issue, security, vulnerability, censorship. Web is of course, you can censor. Once you move on chain and there is no web, and that's why we call it web free, you eliminate all that and you move into the on-chain world, where people can create beautiful applications and make them available to folks around the world without, again, somebody asked about regulation here, without regulation or censorship. I'm not against regulation, but I think it's, the world deserves a refreshing ideology and set of tools to protect people's personal data and the right to express themselves. So again, it's an open platform, freeton.org. It's a catalog website where you can see all the different links to different channels for countries around the world, to different sub-governances that we have. It's like DAOs that develop DeFi or NFT use cases, etc. And maybe last but not least, somebody, I think it was Samuel, said that Africa is full of bright people. I think this NFT revolution, which is currently taking place, is a big, is a big thing for African musicians and the painters, and you can NFT anything, So it's just a big opportunity to instantly get online or even on chain and be able to connect with the world and sell your digital work in a much easier way than it has ever been possible before. And it's just a start with NFT. We're just warming up, it's coming into gamification, it's coming into a whole bunch of other areas. And again, summarizing for me, I think I told it that the last year when we did the first hackathon. For me, blockchain is a big opportunity for Africa, like, mobile became for China. When China transcended the whole generation of IT infrastructure by moving, moving to mobile payments and mobile relationships, mobile shopping as well. So I think blockchain is the same, can have the same potential to transcend even actually 2 generations of technology and just, jump on chain into the future.
Thank you so much for that, Alexander. So we're going to go into our last questions before we obviously look at the audience's questions today. So I'd like to point this question at Femi. So what other advancements do you see happening within the impact space? Femi?
Yeah, thank you. For Africa to move forward, and we need to leapfrog. And we have what we call the 4th industrial revolution. The 4th industrial revolution, of course, we're already getting the 5th industrial revolution already. And the 4th industrial revolution happened to be huge, machine intensive kind of revolution. So that kind of hedge Africans out, because technologically we are not there. So even though we have all the raw materials, but then we don't process any, we don't, tap into all of that. We now have what we call the next production revolution. The next production revolution is what is for Africa. So in the impact space, for you to be able to attract the right capital, like we've been able to demonstrate over the years, for any of the venture or any of the companies that you want to start, where you want to leverage blockchain to solve, because blockchain is catalytic. Blockchain is huge, it's powerful. It can help to accelerate what would have taken 50 years. We can get it done within 3-5 years, because the next 5 years is going to be far different from what the 50 years past is going to look like. So we need to understand what investors will be looking at in the area of robotics, artificial intelligence, and deep learning. All these are console of what we need to integrate into any of the problem you want to solve. Like we've mentioned, is it in healthcare, in education, in governance, in banking, in finance, in a payment? All of these need some sort of technology to make that happen. And a quick example is what we actually did in the area of cooking gas. So on our blockchain today, households across Africa, anywhere you have, you can actually pay for your gas, order for your gas, use your gas as you go. And you can also monitor on your mobile app the level of your gas as it's going down, as against the opaque nature of our cylinders, of our energy assets, where the seller will just sell you half a cylinder and you're going to pay the full price of a cylinder. So we've been able to use blockchain now, where everyone on that block contributed to making that happen. And that is only possible because we're able to use the right technology and, of course, building partnership around those people that as well care alongside with us. And we've also introduced the same thing across water as well. How are you able to deploy 5 megawatts of energy in an environment where they hardly get 3 hours of electricity, and you will deploy this for free? It's through this type of technology, and impact investors are able to back it. Social investors and VCs are able to back it because they've been able to do the checklist. So can we see the data? Can we understand who is using it? Are the payments coming on time? Okay, is everybody paying their fair share? This long list that VC will always want to check is only possible when you introduce this similar type of technology. So it's our encouragement that everyone, let's look at what we can do. And like Mark Angelo would always say, that we come as one, but we stand as many. So we have room for almost everybody to plug into what we already have. And we can expand that, of course, into other spaces that is not just energy centric only. So thank you for having me today, everyone.
Thank you so much for that, Femi. And our last question, which I'm going to point at Randa, is why is blockchain motivating populations to work remotely? And how do we do more to invite the younger generation to be part of this revolution? Randa?
Yeah. So how it's getting people to work remotely, it's really happening automatically. Like I'm a good example for that. I have been working as an employee within hours at the office, and you know the structure of an organization with a path to be promoted, etc. So here, when we have a technology in our hand where we can innovate and bring up solutions for people that we didn't know and that we don't know, that are strange for us, the internet has come to group such people. And the advantage of blockchain on the internet also have given opportunities for people who weren't having the chance or don't have the voice in their own country or with their own government. So someone like me who has been employed for those years, I find freedom as a woman. I find freedom as an office employee, where I can work for consultancy agreements, and I can also educate people. So I have the fun in educating people, nourishing them with valuable information so they can work on themselves and also become better than me. And on the other hand, I have my own independency with money-wise, financial-wise, and I have building my own profile away from the office constraints. So this is how remote work can really develop on the personal level and have a positive impact on the economy, because when they get their money, they also will spend their money in the same country or can even travel. So this is a very good opportunity for people. Please go explore the remote jobs. Don't be afraid. Work on your profiles, work on yourself, and you can get there. Like everyone here, like everyone around, it's easy. Like Dr. Tommy was saying, you can do that. You can start with the basic education, and for free. There are also like certificates for free, like in University of Nicosia. And they offer introduction certificates for free. And that was when I started in 2016. So I think, did I answer your question? I think that's what I have to say. And be inspired and start today.
Thank you so much for that, Randa. I like that last note for our audience. So we're just going to look through the audience questions. I know some were pointed at Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. So Manakara Okoson Sorry if I have not pronounced your name correctly, but you said that you obviously think that the initiative, the Freeton initiative, you really commend it, and you would like to know, are there any plans by the Freeton blockchain team to bridge this regulatory gap as they plan to wade into the bumbling pool of African blockchain enthusiasts? So I think it's more in regards to the regulatory aspect in Africa. So would you be able to answer that question, Alexander? And obviously any of our other panelist members, if you would like to chime in after.
Yeah. Well, I have a balanced view on regulation. I'm a big fan, of course, of the on-chain world when there is absolutely no regulation. Like it was in Bitcoin, which is outside of the regulatory frameworks. The whole decentralized finance is outside. So everything that happens on chain, and as I mentioned, I don't want to repeat, we contribute our Web3 approach and devotes to that on-chain world to bring more functionality on chain. So that's outside of regulations. However, of course, we have to respect that whenever you would like to bridge the gap from that on-chain world, which again, for me is magical and it's great from, personal data protection into the real world, into fiat currencies, then of course the regulation has to step in and will step in to prevent, to fight corruption, to fight, drug trafficking or all the other bad things that can happen. And that will stay. And I cannot even argue with that because that makes a lot of sense to me personally. Maybe last comment I can make is that I think there'll be also like a diffusion of the two worlds. For example, let's take the area of stable coins. There are a few powerful stable coins out there, USDT, USDC, and a few other ones, and there are more coming up. There are, beautiful algorithmic stable coins that are coming up also on our platform. So I think that will collive with fiat currencies, with the central bank digital currencies. So that whole area will be diffusing a little bit. But I do expect regulators around the world to try and step into the on-chain world and start to regulate, for example, decentralized finance, et cetera. But still, it's there are still a lot of opportunities for on-chain world outside of regulations.
Thank you so much for that, Alexander, and thank you to all our panelist members today. I think you've given a formidable insights in regards to our topic today. And I'd like to now hand it back over to Rebecca or Coyote.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Tammy. Thank you, Jubril. Thank you, Randa. Thank you, Alexander. It was such a fantastic session. I absolutely loved it. It was very, very educational. I really, really loved it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Susan. Would like to continue our session and ask Dr. Mania, who is a member of African Subgovernance Team from Freeton, to give the vote of thanks. Dr. Mania, are you here?
Yes, Rebecca, I'm here. Rebecca, thanks for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you clearly.
Good. All right. I must say that this has been a very educational and very welcome kind of session. And I think going by the panelists and looking at the way it has been organized, it's been done in a very good way. So my ambit today is to pass a vote of thanks, and I will just note that one of the things that this hackathon and other things that the blockchain effort is, the African Blockchain Institute is trying to do is to create awareness about, create more awareness about blockchain in the African sphere. we would like to have a situation where the youth, the people who are going to be beneficiaries of these technologies in the future will be more informed And therefore, such a hackathon like this one is very welcome. We wouldn't wish to see a situation where Africa becomes a dumping ground for soon to be obsolete technologies because of ignorance. So when we see this kind of panelists and kind of efforts to create awareness in the African blockchain space, we are very encouraged, and therefore we must thank everyone for doing their bit. I'd like to thank especially the organizers of this particular hackathon, starting with you, Rebecca, for hosting us today. Thank you very much for doing such a wonderful job. Also, looking at the conveners of this hackathon, Kayode Babarinde, and your executive, your team at the ABI, that is African Blockchain Institute, in conjunction with Bwana John Kanyeri of African Sub-Governance Team, Freeton, for putting together this hackathon, and we appreciate because by bringing us this kind of resources, this kind of very able personnel to give us this insight that they have done this afternoon, it's not an easy thing. So therefore, we appreciate you, Kayode and John Kanyeri, for your efforts. And I'd also like to pay my respect as well as say thank you on behalf of the entire team this afternoon to our keynote speaker, someone Dare. I hope I have the name correct, Dare or Dea. And I think you did a great job in trying to summarize some of the challenges and some of the opportunities that come up in the blockchain environment within Africa. Our members of panels this afternoon, the panelists, we would wish to pass our sincere gratitude to you, Dr. Tammy Francis, and Jubri Adeyayo, and Randa Rifai, as well as our very own Alexander Filatov. You guys did a wonderful job in trying to distill and pass a lot of this information to this team, to this particular panel today. We think maybe there should have been more time, but everything that has to start has to come to an end. And finally, I would also wish to thank our very able moderator, Madam Susan Falola, for a wonderful session. You did a great job in moderating this particular session for today. We think that it will be a very good thing to have more of these kind of hackathons. And therefore, everyone who was involved this afternoon or morning, depending on where you are, we thank you. We thank you sincerely, and on behalf of the entire community, that the African Freeton community and the African Blockchain Institute, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, and wish the best to every other person, and hopefully hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Man, and thank you very much, Dr. Manya. Thank you. We really appreciate you. I'm going to hand it back over to Kayode Babarinde, who is the Executive Director of the African Blockchain Institute. So Kayode, over to you.
All right, everyone, thanks for coming for the opening day ceremony. I just wanted to chip in some stuff. First is the last question on the chat, which is about idea protection. I want to assure you that your ideas are protected. This is not the first time we are hosting an hackathon program, and we've done series of that before, and we have not heard about idea theft and that. So, but much more information will be shared with us on our Discord group. So please, I want to encourage the participants to please make sure they are on board, because the hackathon has started right now from the opening ceremony program. By tomorrow, we'll be having 2 sessions. First with the developers class, supported by the Ton Labs. We'll be going through some real stuff around Freeton protocol itself by tomorrow for developers on the as a participant, and also support from Dr. Tammy as well, supporting us in terms of the business development crew as well. So please watch out for these details in the Discord channel today, so that you start preparing for it tomorrow, for the training for tomorrow. And again, from after this training for tomorrow, we're able to form the team and start the hackathon program in full. So those are the two information I wanted to chip in for starting from tomorrow. So guys, welcome on board. We look forward to seeing the winner in 3 weeks' time. Thank you very much, and let's have a good afternoon. Rebecca, please.
Thank you everyone for attending. We really appreciate your time. We look forward to getting the best out of the African Blockchain Hackathon, and we look forward to having a solution that will be used all over Africa. Thank you very much to all our keynote speakers, all our guests. We thank you and we really appreciate your time. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone. See you soon.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye everyone.